better place and everyone healthier. Now our next speaker, he's new blood to the company, to Usana. So his name is Jordan Anderson. He's an athlete performance coach and a movement specialist. He's also new with Usana, but he's loving it. And he wants to share what he has on the sports side of things with Usana, the way that you can actually incorporate it with being healthy habits, as well as what else can I say? Bit of everything. Anyway, come on over, Jordan. Let's give him a big warm clap and welcome, and he'll talk more about it.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out today. The reason why I get up in the morning is to help people realize the health that they're capable of, as well as the performance that they can maximize with that thing they do. Now how I do this is things like this, different presentations, talks, and sharing information with people, opportunities and ideas. We always, whenever we meet someone, have the tendency to ask, what do you do? What do you do to fill your time? When you wake up, what's your job? What's your occupation? From there we get kind of a preconceived idea of who they are and what their values are and those kind of ideas. But to change the thinking to find out why somebody does what they do, that really gives us a different lens about why they're in their job or how they would do their job. This is something I picked up from the 2016 Usana celebration just this past January in Melbourne, and it's such a powerful way. If you haven't seen it yet or listened to it yet, check out Simon Sinek's Start With Why. It's a book or an audio book. He also has some fantastic TED Talks available. And this just really gives you an idea about, why are we in this industry? Why do we do what we do? And it can really help gain clarity around the things that you share and how you share it. So with that in mind, in terms of what I do to help me help people, I'm a PhD student at the University of Sydney in the Health, Science and Sports department. I'm also an athlete performance coach through my company called Maple Leaf Performance. I'm also a movement specialist in sport as well as rehabilitation. And I'm a Usana associate. And with all these things, that's how I accomplish my why I wake up in the morning, and how I try to help people. So with this presentation, we're going to be talking about different types of healthy habits and how we can make them work for ourselves. If you think, we really only have a finite amount of control over the things that affect our health. Things like genetics, at least for today, weather and these kind of things. We don't have any control over them, so it doesn't really bode well for our health to worry about them. So if we focus on the things that we do have control over, then we'll have a better opportunity to improve our health and make changes that will benefit us. So we're going to talk about different ways to do that. Now, if we think of health, it's essentially, we can conceptualize it as a sum of all of our habits. So we have some habits that are fantastic, that are great, that benefit us. And then we all have those kind of habits that may not necessarily be beneficial or conducive to a healthy lifestyle. So the tough thing with that is that we get those from either scripts that we learn when we're young or things that we learn as we go along. And that is all that a habit is. It's simply a skill that we can learn. Now, to learn anything effectively, we need a roadmap, we need a plan. So that's the kind of thing that we're going to talk about today. So if we think about our health, we can look at optimal health with three different prongs. One is exercise, so getting out, being active, being fit. Another one is proper nutrition, and what comprises that. And then lastly, supplementation, and how we can provide our body with all the things we need in order that we can successfully maintain our health. Now, with this idea and the idea of habits, we don't want to change anything too drastically. Think about if you're used to driving to work, and then all of a sudden your car breaks down and you have to bring it to the shop for a day, 2 days, a week, and you're forced to take public transit. How much of a shock to the body is that, to your mind, your stress levels, your routine? You have to wake up earlier, you got to get the kids out more effectively. Coming home, you're not going to have as much time to make dinner and those kind of things, and relax. So our bodies respond the same way. I want everyone to stop dieting. Stop this idea of dieting. A diet is simply comprised of the things that we habitually eat. So right now, every single person is on a diet. It's your diet. Now, there are definitely parts that we can always improve in our diet. As mentioned in the last presentation, all that junk food that we end up buying and eating, we spend more money on it. It's not the best fuel for our bodies. But again, our diets are simply what we habitually eat. So thinking about that example of all of a sudden losing your vehicle to commute to work, think about all of a sudden removing meat if you decide to go on a vegetarian diet. Or suddenly getting off grains and stop eating cereal or rice or those kind of foods or wheat. Your body's going to react in a very, very shocking way. You're shocking the body. You're taking something away drastically. So, in order to be most successful and give your body the opportunity to adapt to these things well, we need to give ourselves a process and give ourselves a fighting chance. Anyone you hear who says, oh, I'm going to go on a diet for a couple of months, well, they're setting themselves up for a very rocky road. Not only is it going to be difficult for their bodies physiologically, their digestion, but it's also going to be very difficult mentally. Okay? And there is an interplay between diet and mental responses. So we're going to talk about a couple of ways and strategies that we can accomplish these tasks to learn new habits or modify existing habits. Okay? Now, having a look at our triangle, optimal health also means optimal performance. Now, this is in everything you do. For athletes, it's in your sport and performing there, but also mentally, in your relationships, work, all of these aspects really circulate around your optimal health. There's a shocking difference between how you approach issues or challenges when you're unhealthy versus being healthy. So that's going to lay down the ground for our talk today. I have a blog. It's at mapleleafperformance.wordpress.com. I like to offer information that's backed up by scientific evidence. So as I mentioned, I'm a researcher. So I like to dig in and find a little bit of evidence behind everything. So I've attached to each of the blog posts that I made open access scientific peer-reviewed articles that's open to everyone. And I try to pick the ones that are written in English instead of that medical jargon that nobody really understands. So giving those options and those resources, it's easier to understand, and there's some science and research behind it. WebMD.com is also a phenomenal website. That's a website for medical doctors, researchers, clinicians, nurses, dietitians, to write blogs and communicate to the public and different people in ways that are effective. So that's kind of the basis of the blogs that I have. One of the posts that we put up is eat real food, okay? Instead of going into the grocery store and getting the canned corn, go get a fresh corn on the cob. Instead of frozen veggies, go get a fresh capsicum from the produce aisle. Instead of going in and getting whatever is in those chicken tenders covered in that somewhat white, floury looking stuff, go grab a chicken breast from your local butcher. These kind of things will set your body up for success. All of those micro things that they put preservatives into foods so they last longer on the shelves, our bodies, we're organisms, we're animals. If you look at different studies or different videos that show, a McDonald's burger that remains unchanged after 8 months in the fridge or something, YouTube it, I'm sure you'll be able to dig it up. If bacteria doesn't want to eat it, we really shouldn't want to put that stuff into our bodies. So eat real food. Now, tips on how to do that. The number one thing that I get is, I don't know how to cook. Well, perfect. Let's go over some ways to learn how to cook. I promise you, it's a blast. It's such a great hobby. So different things you can do. Join a cooking class, okay? Once a week, an hour and a half on a Tuesday. The recipes that you'll learn, you'll be able to use and repeat. You can also cook with friends. I always feel that food is meant to share, and it's so much more fun when you have other people around to share your food with. Learn from mom or dad, your uncle, your aunt, somebody else. Just ask, how do you boil rice? These simple skills will go a long way. Every university student that I speak to who's on mac and cheese or a McDonald's diet or something, it's just learn to boil water and put some food into it. It'll bring you a long way. Buy a cookbook. Similar to learning how to be a photographer, if you buy a good camera, you'll become a good photographer. If you buy a cookbook, and I literally mean a plethora in that there is an overabundance. So many different types of cookbooks, your different types of fad diets. And the one thing that I like from the fad diets is that they're really interesting recipes. So those are great things to gather, okay? And also follow a good cooking blog. Have a dig through different people who put out cooking blogs, or follow people on Instagram. Great resources that make it very simple. Okay? It's this big scary monster until you try it, and then it's so much fun. So eat real food. The next thing to do is eat breakfast. This sets up your metabolism for the entire day. So some things to think about. Energy, okay? Your body works on carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, okay? So carbohydrates aren't bad. You just have to look at what quality and what type of carbohydrates you want to ingest. Fats are not bad. There is this big misnomer that came out of the last century that we should avoid all fats, and fats are the devil, and they're all evil. It's not true. Fats are good. We need certain types of fats to survive. So this is where we get our energy. You want to set up your day for energy-filled activities, okay? You got to also think, when did you eat last? It's been 8 hours, and we'll get to sleep in a second, but it's been at least 8 hours since you were last awake. And generally, we probably eat 2 hours before we go to bed. So you're looking at least 10 hours since you last ate. Now, yes, you're asleep and your body doesn't need energy as much as while you sleep. However, it's been a big gap of time without any energy. So we want to be able to fuel ourselves, okay? As I mentioned, it sets up your metabolism for the day, okay? To get some food into your stomach, it helps regulate your blood sugar levels, and your fatigue, concentration, energy levels are very much linked to your blood sugar levels, okay? And it helps with weight control as well. Now, I'm going to specify weight control, okay? Questions about weight loss and weight management, that's best for a registered dietitian or nutritionist. So I strongly recommend, if you do have any personal questions with that, or if you have any customers or associates with questions, a registered dietitian is going to be the best person to go to, okay? Keep in mind that we offer opportunities and education, right? But that's within our scope, okay? And it's fantastic to partner with clinicians and other healthcare professionals in order to get that information effectively out to everyone else, okay? Now, there's this popular strategy to manage weight and look great going around called intermittent fasting. And one of the processes is to fast, so not eat between dinner one night and then lunch the next day. Now, there is scientific evidence behind the fast for 2 days a week and eat for 5 days a week. However, your body goes through a lot of negative repercussions. I gave this a go. I tried the intermittent fasting from dinner to lunch. Let me tell you, my mood, irritation, hunger, concentration, energy levels. I'm an athlete. I'm a middle distance runner. So whenever I would get up in the morning for training, I needed to eat. And after recovering from a 2-hour training the night before and having to back it up with another hour the next afternoon, it didn't work for me personally. My partner, she was very cognizant and aware that I was going through this intermittent fasting. Every morning I woke up grumpy. So again, it's an option, it's a way to go through it, but there are definitely other repercussions, and your body reacts in different ways that you need to consider. I've heard that once you get through the first 3 weeks, things are great. If you're okay being very unproductive for 3 weeks, then it's something that you can try. So that's my rant about intermittent fasting. So skills or strategies that we can employ in order to make sure that we get breakfast. Because I always hear, I'm too tired in the morning, I need that extra 4 minutes sleep, I don't have time, I have to rush out the door, I gotta catch a train, etc. These are all definitely reasonable and legitimate reasons that your morning is rushed. So set yourself up for success. Go to bed 10 minutes early so you can wake up 10 minutes early. 10 minutes, it's a minute amount of time that you can make a meal in. Other things you can do is prep something before bed. So get a bowl of granola, set your yogurt directly beside it, and cut up some fruit the night before so you can put that into a bowl and mix it all up. Or you can set together a shake, something to take on the run. Okay? The Nutrimeal products are fantastic. My partner and I, we both have one every morning. She loves the vanilla Nutrimeal. It's fantastic. Banana, a couple of berries, everything from raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, any type of milk that you want, and then 1 scoop or 1.5 scoops of the Nutrimeal, delicious. And it's a great balance of all of your macronutrients. Okay? So these kind of strategies can really help us set up for a healthier day. So eat breakfast. Now, as we mentioned, there are a lot of great products that Usana offers that can fit into each of these different slots. Now, keep in mind that these products and the products from Usana, the other products from Usana, they're simply tools. They're not the magic key. They're not the golden ticket to health. However, they are very useful and very important to support our health. Okay? So if you approach what you have as a tool for someone else's path towards a healthy life, you're going to be more honest with them, right? No, we can't live off of pills and shakes and powders and these things. We need real food. However, our real food diets can be very effectively supplemented by different types of health products. Another step to improving our health and changing habits. Enjoy coffee, don't crave it. Now, I love coffee. I love sitting down and having a nice, warm, hot soy flat white, a little bit of honey, sitting on a sunny day on the Esplanade by the beach. Fantastic. What I hate are the cravings that happen if you do that too often. So, don't get me wrong, I love coffee. It's fantastic. I'm not saying stop it. I'm suggesting modify it and control how much coffee you intake. So, things that caffeine have an effect on. They change our appetite, okay? You may have heard this before, you may have said it yourself. I just have a mid-morning or a mid-afternoon coffee so I don't get hungry and I can get through the day, right? So these kind of things, caffeine really changes your appetite and how hungry you are, okay? Other changes, sleeping patterns. It is a stimulant, so depending on when you have it through the day or when you don't have it through the day, your sleep patterns can be severely affected. Okay? Decreased concentration, either off it or on it. You get that caffeine high and you can't focus on one thing, or you get that caffeine crash and your exhaustion takes over. These kind of things are impacts of caffeine. And another massive one is fatigue, just general fatigue. Okay? And crankiness. I don't know what's worse. Somebody waking up in the morning and not having their morning coffee, or working through kind of the afternoon crash. I'll leave that up to you to weigh in and out. But now let's look at a practical way to try to curb our caffeine intake. So breaking a habit, they say it takes about 3 weeks, 21 days. So let's go over a 3-week plan. Week 1, decrease your caffeine per serving. So if you're used to a double shot, drop it down to 1. If you're used to 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, have maybe half your portion both times, or try to cut out that afternoon coffee. All right. Other things you can do is fill up more almond milk or soy milk or cow's milk, whatever you have with it, so that you have a bigger portion with the same amount of caffeine, but you intake it in a slower rate. These kind of things will help modify your caffeine intake. So if you do that starting Monday, every single day, modifying your caffeine intake, it'll help decrease in a gradual level the overall caffeine that you're taking in. Okay? Now, if you suggest this to someone else and they say, oh, I can't live through the 2 p.m. crash without my coffee, well, provide them alternatives, other suggestions. half a shake of Nutrimeal is fantastic to give you that energy to get through that 2 p.m. afternoon crash. It's got low glycemic index carbs. So a glycemic index is relatively from 0 to 100, a scale of how quickly our body digests the sugar or the carbohydrates. So a low glycemic index is slow digestion, low, slow. The high glycemic index is like high octane, high fuel, go, go, go. We get it in, we use it quickly, okay? So, again, afternoon coffee, give them an alternative. Maybe a snack, one of the Nutrimeal, one of the bars. These kind of things really help curb that appetite and that need for something in the afternoon. So week 2, have a coffee every second day. Now that you've effectively decreased the overall amount of caffeine, well, why not have a coffee Monday to start your week, Wednesday for hump day, Friday is a treat, and then Sunday when you're sitting on that esplanade with your friends, okay? These kind of things, and again, suggest alternatives to the coffee, will help decrease that overall caffeine intake. Then you get into week 3. Have one on hump day on Wednesday and one on Sunday to relax with your friends at the cafe. And all of a sudden, you significantly decrease the amount of caffeine in 3 weeks, in 21 days. Okay? So this kind of a plan is a lot easier to follow rather than just stop taking caffeine, okay? So, again, alternatives. Eat breakfast in the morning instead of your morning coffee. You get that afternoon slump, protein and low GI snack. It'll make you feel full and give you that energy. And again, Usana has a bunch of fantastic products that you can make as a recommendation. So, get active. All right? Another great way to support our health. So, key things, if you're looking to start an activity that maybe you want to go to the gym, you want to join a running group, these kind of things, make sure you enjoy it. If you hate swimming, don't swim. If you absolutely despise going to the gym and lifting weights, choose another alternative. Get some friends together, join a walking class, join an outdoor fitness class. I'm Canadian, and this is a new thing. Boxing classes. Australians love it. They love going out to the park and just firing away with your boxing gloves. Cool. If that gets you out and gets you active with friends in a group, perfect. That's fantastic. Okay? But make sure you enjoy what you do. It's going to have better staying power. Invest in your health. Okay? Pay a little bit for a gym membership, for example. If you pay for something, there's a better chance that you're going to follow through it. Okay? Think of it as investing in your health. Not, oh my God, fitness classes cost so much. You're paying into yourself. Okay? Find a location that works. My coach at home, she always said, out of the 3 things, training center, work, home, 2 of them have to be close. Okay? So, pick 2 of them that'll be close. Your activities, either do it at work or do it somewhere close to home. Even if that yoga studio over in Newtown is fantastic and it's great, that's an hour drive each way. And so when you get home and you're thinking, well, should I watch another episode of Suits or go to yoga? I don't want to drive the extra hour, so I'm going to go sit on the couch. So make sure you choose a location that's conducive to you exercising. And again, exercise with someone. Get a friend. Drag your mom. Drag your cousin. Tell them, I'm getting fit, so are you. Let's go do this. Okay? You'll hold each other accountable. Now, with our athlete support program that USANA has, these Nutrimeal shakes and bars, those are fantastic. As I mentioned, I'm a middle distance athlete. I train in around 15 hours a week. And as I mentioned, 3 sessions of the week are longer than an hour and a half. After getting home from one of those sessions, having a Nutrimeal shake is the only thing that'll keep me awake so that I can eat dinner or finish the day, for example. So any athletes that you interact